Well, it's the last week. We got football coming up. We got real college games coming up. We're like T minus 10 till kickoff.
Oh,
I'm ready for some football. You ready, bud?
let's roll.
Let's go.
Guess not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Let's roll with it.
And there we go.
Let's roll.
Let's roll again.
Let's roll.
Nope.
No, we ain't doing it. Don't forget your mic.
See, let me give you a little backstory tonight, folks.
Yeah.
What you just saw was a clip for the Trenches. Trenches coming up this fall. Starts airing next week, next Thursday on game day before your NFL action. You're going to want to check out the Trenches. You'll see it on Armchair Athletics YouTube channel. You'll see it on the Armchair Athletics Facebook page. You're just going to see it all over the place. Anything doing with Armchair Athletics or yards after the catch, hey, boom, you're going to see the Trenches. It's going to be fantastic. And we were going to do the draft tonight, but it has been an amazing ride of technical snafus all night long. It's been fantastic. I mean, it's been to a certain level that you just kind of get to the point where you can't help but laugh. It's just, I mean, I don't know how you're feeling about things right now, Rube. I'm just a little giddy with excitement to see what's going to happen next. I'm waiting for my laptop to literally light on fire. That's pretty much what I'm waiting for.
Just crash, the lights fall out, I'm just waiting for one more thing to be like, yeah, it's time to just go to bed. And the thing is it's not even just today. There was a lot of technical difficulties. We had it just now. I think today's just not a good day, but then we had technical difficulties because, the storms on Sunday with the other draft, because we did draft this weekend. So
yeah.
I mean, it just,
who didn't?
Maybe it's just this week. Maybe it's not ready yet. I mean, is nobody ready for football?
Maybe that's it. Maybe the football juju is just not in the air. It's not operating correctly. I don't know. I'm ready for football, but maybe I've been distracted with all this magnificent Trenches stuff. I mean, we're talking about like the greatest fantasy football competition ever conceived, and it's all going down, and it was going to start tonight, and maybe it was just too much excitement, and there was so much electricity in the air, it just ruined all the electrical stuff.
Yeah, technical difficulties, pulled a hammy and was out. So
that
after the game,
all the technical stuff decided not to play this week because it's the last week of preseason. All our technical stuff went on the bench, but here we are. Welcome to Yards After Catch, everybody. I am Chris Fox. I'm sitting next to the greatest co-host in all the land. That's Mr. Roop. There it is. Fully expect this show to completely, something's going to catch on fire. Just stick around. Wait to see what it is. I don't know what it is yet.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, let's go. So we learned a few things this week as we get closer and closer. Hello, Aurora. How you doing? Love to see you back, as always. But we learned a few things besides the technical difficulties that can happen. through our drafts and through our mock drafts, and we've been kind of learning, but now that the mock drafts have come into the real drafts is when the lessons really happen. One thing that I learned is that if you are in the middle of your draft, if you're in the middle spot, a 6, a 7, an 8 spot, it's really nice because you don't have to wait as long to come back around for your turn. What's really bad about it is that you get to watch every single player that you were going to
There it
pick
is.
next get picked, get sniped before it's actually your turn.
Yeah, I know I took some of your players, but not all. I know I got, let's see, one or two people got something that I kind of wanted, and I'm like, ah. And it was always like 2 or 3 picks before me. And I like the spot I was picking number one, but there was always like right before, and I'm like, this guy's not going to make it back to me, but it's way too soon. I'm not going to reach. And it's just, it just doesn't matter what position you're in, it's going to happen. So, I mean, at least once during the draft, or maybe you're just a rookie and take the next best player always, even if they're injured or suspended, who knows? Because that happened too. It was just utter chaos the whole weekend and all the way through today, and probably into this weekend and next week. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think things are going to pick up as we get closer to football. But yeah, that did seem to be the issue, was that it was too early, and I figured that they would get back around. And in a lot of cases, they really kind of should have gotten back around. I really should have been able to get Mike Williams. If you hadn't been sitting there, I think he might have made it back to me. I knew I was reaching on that one. But Lazard, I definitely thought I had time. But of course, you grabbed that one as well. Like you said last week, it's hard to be in a draft when with the people that all you do is talk football with. Who was another one? Damian Pierce got
He went
taken
way too early,
way early than I
way
thought he
early.
was going to. I definitely wanted him on my roster. I want him on my team. The nice thing about Damian Pierce is if you are waiting for running back, if you're not going running back heavy in the draft, you can grab him later and get a starter. And that's really kind of what I was doing. I was waiting, hoping to grab that starter, but I guess someone else was too.
Yeah, the problem with is that guy actually came to my draft on Saturday and just saw what happened, but it was only an 8-team draft, so it was like not a big deal. So he saw that and was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'll take him a couple of rounds early." It's an 8-team, so he went way later. And now with all the news coming out, it's not even a big problem anymore because it's out. Didn't they release Marlon Mack today? So Pierce
Yeah.
is like the guy,
Well, now people will know to take him earlier. I was definitely trying to wait, and he should, like, according to ADP, I still had like 3-4 rounds to go, and I knew he wouldn't wait that long because I was going to take him. But I knew I couldn't be the only guy looking at him, and so that's why he was my next pick, a pick I never got to make.
So it was mine too, and you know what? I read somewhere today online that in somebody's draft he went in the 5th round. So remember that for the next drafts that we do. 5th round, Damian Pierce might be gone. The secret's out. So
exactly, especially with Mac being gone now. And that's fantasy, everybody. That's how it goes.
Also take Mac late now that I think of it, because he might end up somewhere. I mean, right?
I mean, he's going to land somewhere. He's got too much experience, and I mean, you figure he'll be on a roster as a 2nd or 3 down back, and a couple injuries happen here or there, or people get tired, and yeah, might
something to keep an eye on, at least.
Deep sleeper. So other than the 7 spot being what I thought was going to be a great spot, what did you get out of this draft that we just did? I know. I'll give you another one. People, well, and this could go into the whole tech. I don't think people really are ready for football, or maybe people aren't ready to draft, because we didn't fill that draft until like minutes before it was supposed to start. And we were looking for like 2 people, like an hour out. And it didn't used to be that you had, I mean, usually if you put up, hey, we got an opening, you had 10 people that wanted one spot. And I've seen that happen a few times in a few different cases for a few different leagues. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Do people just have too many leagues this late to join one in?
That's what I was going to say. Maybe a lot more people are doing a lot more leagues now. I mean, anybody I talk to, they're all like, "Oh, I'm in 3 drafts. I can't do anymore." And I'm doing 5. I think 5 or 6 this year, and I think I'm going to find my balance. I've done 2, and now I'm doing 5, 6, whatever it is. And maybe you find that balance. Like, no, I'm good, because people are like, I'm spent after 3, and I mean, realistically, if you do a research for one, it's the same for the other 2. You just go and find if they're there or not. So
Yeah, and I guess the thing is like it gives you a chance. Well, I know for me, I'm playing in a lot of different formats. So I think I am doing 5 different leagues this year, and I'm playing like in 4 different formats, which to me is kind of the advantage of playing in more than one league this year. The way I'm doing it.
yeah, that actually does help kind of see a little bit more. Like I'm in an 8, a couple of 12s, 16. Yeah, 16. Yeah, we got a 16 one coming up Wednesday, which I'm drafting twice for. Still stressed about it, but I think I can do it. We'll see.
Is that that's tomorrow? No, next
What's
Wednesday.
today? Tuesday? No, it's tomorrow.
Yeah. Is it tomorrow? So
It's
tomorrow we
tomorrow.
have a 16 team. Woo, baby.
I guess
Wow.
I'm gonna do my homework tonight.
Hey, if you guys are just joining us, shoot us some questions. Let us know how your drafts have been going. We've just been talking about a draft that we just recently did yesterday, a couple days ago. And we're kind of just talking about who got sniped, who's going early with Damian Pierce, and just kind of seeing how the mock drafts and the lessons learned are matching up now, which is always what happens every year, and kind of the chaos that ensues through that. Speaking of chaos, you're going to want to stick around towards the end of the show. We're going to do college chaos, college season starting up. We're not going to get into it yet. Calm down, take a breath. Let's start thinking about college football, because we're thinking about college football. We're definitely going to take that last segment to do some college chaos with Roop. There it is. And speaking of chaos as well, if you really want to chaos up your draft, get yourself some draft day dice. Tell you what, let me know if you need a set. I'll get you a set. I'll send them out, and you can roll these suckers out. Let me tell you, these things will change your draft. Like you haven't experienced chaos like this. You have not experienced fun like this. Vegas entertainment, all in your draft day dice. Let us know if you want to set. Hey,
so I'm going to triple down on the chaos. Saturday, I was thinking about drafting Brian Robinson from Washington, and Sunday comes out that he gets carjacked and shot twice. And
so crazy.
This is the guy that's going to be leading the backfield, and now it's just what's going to happen now. And I'm hoping he's okay, to the point where, he's going to make a full recovery. And, it's just one of those scary things that happens to just random people apparently now these days.
Yeah. And just to get taken advantage of like that. And the thing that, aside from obviously the fact that this young kid who's got everything in front of him could have lost it all right there. Luckily, his injuries were not life-threatening. He was tweeting after his surgery that his surgery went well. Hopefully, speedy recovery, and hopefully he's back on the field in no time for his sake, not for fantasy's sake.
I just want to see him play, really, just to see what he's got.
Absolutely, but to happen like that, especially in a town like Washington D.C., where that's kind of known for crime and stuff. It shouldn't be. It should be known for so many other things. I've lived near there. There's so many great museums, Smithsonian. There's so many great places to go. Obviously, it's the home to our government and our president. It's just an amazing city. Traffic is horrible. I will not defend Washington's traffic. But, I really have to applaud this young kid's attitude, how he's really taking it. You've heard nothing but positivity out of his camp, and I just think that's really cool.
Yeah, I really, Washington D.C. is a nice place. The stadium, I think there's some issues there, but
Mhm.
hopefully they get something new within, get some money. What probably 3, 4, $500 million stadium. I
Well,
feel
they're
like that's
gonna
what.
have to win some games if they're gonna get any.
Not getting that type of cash.
I don't know if Carson Wentz is gonna get a new stadium for you. What do you guys think? You think Carson Wentz is worth a new stadium?
Maybe Robinson. Robinson's the guy now. He's
Maybe
the face of the
Robinson will
franchise.
get the
Yeah, I'm just
stadium.
saying.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be a story now. Unfortunately, hopefully it's a good story. Hopefully it's one that plays out
Week
well.
6. That's my guess. Week 6 starting.
Kid's going to be on a mission to get back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully non-life threatening injuries. Kid's okay. And hopefully he's ready to play ball soon. But honestly, we're just glad he is okay. That's a great point. That's good. Triple down on chaos right there. So we were talking just very briefly, just before the show, and we were kind of talking about what we were going to talk about. And we had touched on this subject last week as well about fantasy firsts. And it's funny that you had brought it up before. And it seems to always happen this way. I'd seen a few things this week of people kind of remembering and recounting their first drafts and when they first started coming in, and what a nightmare it was, how horrible you did that first season. Oddly enough, my wife won her second year in. So, you can flip it around pretty easy. But, why don't you, kind of lead us in where what inspired you there with the fantasy first? Let's talk about some fantasy first, everybody.
Well, I mean, fantasy first is like the first timers. You're coming in, you don't know what to do, you don't know who to draft, you don't, what's that Q next to their name? If you don't have friends that have been playing a little while and they finally invite you in, or there's an opening somewhere, that's the time where it's like, I hope I did enough research, but there's so much that goes into it where sometimes you don't have to overthink when it comes to like finding a quarterback. You could go early and take one of the Josh Allens and Mahomes of the group, or you could just stay for a later round who someone's decent, has a great offense and has a terrible defense, and they're going to be playing from behind the whole time. Stuff like that you can kind of learn as you go, and trying to, because between QB1 and QB10, there's not a big gap. Just some games are like 20 and 45 difference. So it kind of depends, but you can get your averages about the same.
Yeah, you look at someone like Kirk Cousins, who's always going to be in that top 10, but he's kind of a boomer bust weekly, only 19 points average per week. So you got to kind of know when to take someone like Cousins, just because they're in the top 10, they're going to show up early on that little automated list. And right. You got to know, if it's the time to take him, if you could get someone else that's a little more reliable on a week to week basis. But these are the things that you learn as you go. And we look at the social medias and stuff, and people are like, first year doing it, roast my draft, blah, blah, blah. And you see the same mistakes that I made, the same mistakes that we all made, reaching on players, grabbing names that they've heard before that may not be set up so well. I think of a Henderson or Robert Woods or something like that. Not that these guys won't play well, but usually they just get drafted way too early.
Yeah, like Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, AJ, let's see, who is it? Kyle Pitts. I'm just naming off your team, by the way.
Yeah, I know. You'll say, yeah, I took him. No, I took him too.
I took him too.
I'm not. Look, I'm happy with my draft.
So am I.
For the most part, there's a couple guys I would have rather had Mike Williams than Johnson out of Pittsburgh, but I can't be mad with getting Johnson either. So
yeah, Johnson I think is going to be just fine. I think Pickett is going to end up taking that job. I think we talked about that last week a little bit. Because I think they released the other guy, Mason Rudolph. I think they
did. So
Pickett's moving up the pecking order. So
yeah,
believe it.
Either one's going to be good, and I believe in Trubisky too. I have no problem. Like I said, I would have rather had Williams, but Johnson was there. I thought Williams was going to come back to me, and that's just a risk you take. But Aurora brings up a good point too. I mean, as if fantasy wasn't difficult enough to kind of start to do well off the bat. Now there's all these different platforms, and many of them are not user friendly. I'm not going to mention all the sites, ESPN, that is really hard to work with, especially
NFL,
from a mobile list on a mobile environment. But that's a great point. And there's more, sleepers come out now, but now you've got all these different leagues that are doing best ball and best ball competitions and daily fantasy and all these things. I must have seen at least 5 or 6 new ones this year alone. And I know some of them came out last year, but fantasy first is what we're talking about. Let us know about your fantasy first, your first league, your first experience, and how that went down. We're both here to tell you that ours did not go well, and we're not afraid to admit it, but we learned a lot of stuff. And now, we win everything.
And it's funny. I think there's smoke coming from somewhere, because another technical difficulty, I can't see anybody in the chat. I can't see any comments. See? So there you go. So now the host, Chris Fox, is going to have to take all the work to himself, put it on his shoulders. I'm just going to kick back
That's
over here.
That's what I do. Yeah, that is okay. That is what I do. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
It's a heavy rucksack to carry right now.
Let's go. 12 miles. Here we go. Yeah, we talked about that too. It's been a heck of a week, hell of a day technically and stuff like that. We're just sitting back. We're talking some football. Talk with us. Chime in. How'd your drafts go this week? Let us know about your drafts. We kind of opened the show talking about our drafts. If you want us to revisit, we will, but we'd rather talk about your drafts. Let us know how that went down. Aurora, actually, I know that you had a draft this week as well. How did yours turn out? Give us a thumbs up or maybe a equal sign if it wasn't so much. If you kind of iffy, you can put a plus or a minus up there, maybe. I don't know.
So I had number 1 pick, and I know you said that, the running back never repeats, last 10 years, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. At so the, well, no, because, but you also have to understand, I said, take him. Just don't expect him to finish first.
Right.
No, that's all I'm saying. I still think he's going to finish top 5.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that tell you won't even finish top 5. I'm not one of them. I think he's going to finish top 5. But I don't know I just don't think he's going to finish top 1. I said that I'm not sure if he's really going to finish in the top 3. Yeah. Cody says this year has been the most mixed bag of drafts I have ever had. Well, coming from a guy who makes mixed bags of drafts for a living, that's kind of significant.
That's saying something.
Cody Stockton with Elite Fantasy Games. If you're not playing Elite Fantasy Games, then you're just not playing Elite. Go check those guys out, elitefantasygames.com. There may still be a couple leagues left, but I know there's a couple pools left. And you just got to go check them out, elitefantasygames.com. This is from an old chat we did. Yeah, elitefantasygames.com. I was trying to put the website up there, but let the fun continue. I know it's not going to show, and that's okay. Elitefantasygames.com. Everybody go check them out because they are a lot of fun. I've played in a few of them this year, and it's been really good. But you were saying about well, we were talking about how there's so many different platforms, and that can be daunting for a new player. How did you play? I mean, for me, we all had to be in the same room together. We all had to sit there. Like, there was no internet and stuff like that. You couldn't really do it on cell phones. It was all flip phones and text message. How was your introduction to fantasy sports?
Everybody was there, I was there in the room, but we did have the platform. We use Flea Flicker, which is it's a pretty decent one. I like it. It's a little smaller company, not really the big name. I still use it today for one of my leagues. I like to see and compare which the same player is at in certain drafts in certain platforms, and it kind of helps me, like, okay, I can judge it a little bit better, or I like a platform for XYZ on this side, or I understand the defense, they have more defense information over here, whatever the case may be. So you can take away something from each one. But I've done the Yahoo as well, and this year I'll be doing the NFL and the ESPN for the first time at the same time, and I'm not sure, just judging by previous comments, that I'm not sure if I'm going to like it or not. So I'm going to apologize now for my bad drafting skills tomorrow night. You can go ahead and laugh. Are we going to stream that at all? Or are we just going to?
We can. Well, we can try.
I don't even know. Because I'm also going to be hosting a little gathering with one of the leagues that I'm going to be in.
I definitely think we should stream it then.
Oh, dude, it's going to be so difficult just because it's going to be so crazy, because I'm going to be drafting twice. And
it's not even going to make sense.
It's not even going to make sense to you.
If you guys want to see that, if you guys want to see Roop, there it is, draft two different leagues and host a little gathering all at the same time while the stream is going on. If you want to see that, just give us a thumbs up. Just let us know. Just shoot something in the comments. I only need one. I just need one person to say they want to see it. I'm
going to have sweat. I'm going to have pizza stain on my shirt. I'm sure. I don't know what's going to happen.
We definitely need to talk and get the details of this. This is going to happen. When is this go down? When is this fiasco happen?
Ours is at 7:30. This one goes on at 7.
This is tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh, this is tomorrow, 7? Nice.
Yes.
I'm loving this. I am loving it. All right.
So we can invite some people from the ACA. What do you think?
I don't know why not. Let's bring them. Why not?
I mean, they're going to be drafting, right? I mean, don't have to look at the camera.
So. But let's see here.
This way I can ask questions on who to take.
100%. Cody says he definitely started with pencil and paper and had to wait for a Tuesday email results. I like that. That's going back as well. He's almost back to when I started with that. It was crazy. We had text, so we could do that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun though, because we were all sitting in a room together and all chatting, and it wasn't just a silent keyboard. And that was one thing I noticed about our draft that we did yesterday, is there was really very little chatter. There was nothing going on. It really was just a point and click fest. You and me were texting back a little bit, but I could tell you were involved.
And the
with
weather
what you were doing.
Yeah.
And your weather was messing with you. So I really, as much as I love technology and I wish we could just merge the two, and that really is, I look at your hat. I love your hat, by the way. Nice big symbol, Armchair Athletics. You see it up in the corner, armchairathletics.com. That's what we do at armchairathletics.com. We put you guys back in the room. We talk about streaming the draft. We will stream your draft. We will stream it. We will help host it because we want everybody to be able to talk and have fun drafting again and playing football and enjoying the people that they play with. Armchairathletics.com. Go check us out. At Home of the Trenches as well, airing next Thursday. The Trenches, the greatest fantasy football competition ever conceived. Okay, said my piece there, worked it in. So what's next? What do you have on your little? I've got a little sheet here of different things that we're going to talk about this week. What's on your sheet right now?
I want to run through, just for some simplicity for anybody new starting. Okay, so we already talked about the quarterback. How you want to take one. The running back, you want to look for your workhorses. I actually, for the first time in probably 10 years, waited on running back this year, a little bit later, and which was really surprising to me, because I love me some running backs. Like I'll have like 6 running backs in the first 9 rounds or 10 rounds or whatever. But you do need a workhorse running back, not someone that's splitting. Your wide receiver, you want to look for the number 1 guy on the team. Go check and find out who's their number 1. Maybe look at the number 2s for the later rounds. And number threes, that's when you start looking into
Threes are okay late. Threes are nice.
They're
late
okay late,
because
but
sometimes they get moved up if there's injuries and stuff. To piggyback off what you said about the running backs, it's why I took Eckler. I could have had Eckler or Najee. I was happy with either one. I went ahead. We've talked about how they're kind of interchangeable. You know, they both catch passes. And I took Eckler for really the same reason that I would have took Najee because, well, I mean, opposite reason, excuse me, that I would take Najee because if you look at Najee's going to get a lot of work because there is a controversial quarterback situation, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But the reason I went with Eckler is because there's not a controversial situation, and I know Eckler's going to get work. You talk about regression and stuff like that. Eckler's been pretty steady across the board, maybe climbing up a little bit within a few spots, but I took Eckler for the consistency. Najee is a rookie. You do technically get regression there. And so when you have that choice in front of you to take a proven veteran, a consistent veteran over a rookie with a high ceiling, I like to lean towards the veteran, a little more of a sure thing. You got to risk it for the biscuit, but we're talking first round here, or first, second round. I think it's better to, if you have the option, to take what you know is going to work.
That actually makes a little bit of sense because Eckler is playing, indoors and not much changed for them. The Chargers are still the Chargers. There wasn't like some crazy wildness going on, but I like Najee and I was really surprised. And I was sitting at the table, I was drafting. I said, he's up. He's got Eckler and Najee. And I said, you know what? He's taking Najee. He's a Steelers fan. He's going to. And I was so disappointed because I was like, he's going to be fine. But I understand why you did it. But, Najee's coming in, after his rookie season. And I think he's going to be just fine. There tends to be some regression. But I don't think so. I think Najee will have more points this year than last year.
I do too. I think Najee's a great pick. It was a dilemma, especially being a Pittsburgh fan. You know how bad I really wanted to take Najee. I was surprised myself, but I feel really good about it. I actually had Eckler last year, and I traded him away, just trying to rock the boat on my team because they were hurting. It did not work. It helped someone else make the playoffs, and that's just how it goes sometimes. And then the wide receivers, I tell you, when I'm looking at wide receivers, obviously I want the stars, but then when you start getting in those rounds where you're not really sure who to take, which guy, I kind of look for the people that are not on great teams, because they're going to be behind, and when they're behind, they're going to throw the ball a lot.
Like maybe the Bears wide receivers, because they're going to be behind.
That team is too bad. That team is too bad.
I only say that because last year I think you took Allen Robinson, and this year you also took Allen Robinson in hopes because they got the love for the guy. And I think you're right this year.
I think I took Mooney last year because I was really big on Mooney last year. I'm still big on Mooney this year, but not as big. Look, Justin had a fantastic preseason game. His last preseason game was fantastic. So maybe he's starting to dial it in. Maybe it's just the preseason. I don't know.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. Like, wait, what if he finally figured it out? And maybe, it's just one game. You can't really put too much on it. But I kind of want to see him be that elite, throwing 2 or 3 touchdowns and rushing for one. I want that to happen for them because, the people in Chicago, they want that. They're always got that solid defense, but maybe they have the offense now. I believe in Mooney as well. But I don't know. There's a lot of talk about Ohio State and what's coming out of there. So we'll get to that later.
Look, sorry. I've gone on record plenty of times, and I will go on record again saying that, look, quarterbacks, Ohio State has some of the best college quarterbacks to ever play the game, especially recently. Stroud already the leader for the Heisman, and the season hasn't even started. Expected to do great things, but they don't transfer to the NFL. If you can tell me the last, I've been an Ohio State fan for 30 plus years. I can't tell you the last NFL quarterback that was quality that came out of Ohio State at the NFL level. I mean, there's guys with plenty of talent. Don't get me wrong, but Fields is trying to be the one to break the mold, and I got to see it first. That's as a Buckeye fan.
I think he'll get it. I think he'll get it done this year. I'm not saying he's going to be top 10, but I think he's going to be like, oh, okay, maybe I can get this guy on a bye week when somebody else. If you didn't
It could happen. That's sometimes what you got to do, especially on the bye week. You find yourself a gem. I tell you, so one of these teams that I think is going to be very productive, because they play in a not strong division. I really like a lot of the players on Atlanta. And if a couple weeks ago when we were doing mock drafts at the beginning of mock draft season, I was very down on Atlanta, but as the season got on, I've kind of reevaluated everything, and I've seen the training camps and the film. Like, Mariota looks really good. He's playing with a lot of confidence. Again, same thing. I'm not saying he's going to finish in the top 10, but he seems very poised, and I think that is going to help Pitts. I took Pitts, and I probably would have told anybody else not to take Pitts as early as I took him. I definitely think Kittle's going to do better, and I could have taken Kittle, but to shake things up a little bit, I went ahead and took Pitts, and I actually think it's going to pay off. I think a lot of these Atlanta players are going to outperform ADPs.
Even with Mariota there, who really hasn't shined, or is it just this is finally his spot? I feel like
I think it's the division.
Okay.
Because other than Tampa, there's nobody there. It's just going to be a bunch of shootouts. It's going to be high-scoring games.
So you think Pitts and Drake London are just going to be monsters this season?
Monsters may be too strong of a word. I think Pitts is. I think Pitts is going to be a monster this season. I really do. Quarterbacks, again, looking at the position when you're talking about tight ends, are one of those positions that teams that aren't playing well hit those tight ends all the time, and that eventually elevates the entire team because they ride that confidence. And you can look at San Francisco a few years back when Kittle first got there. They weren't playing well. Kittle shows up. They got someone to dump to. Kittle gets these monster numbers, and now Kittle's awesome, and San Francisco is considered pretty good. What's going on, Chris? How you doing, bud? Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate everything you do. How'd your draft go? Any drafts?
Yeah, we're talking about drafts. We're talking about how they went, and first time drafts. We're talking about our first time experiences. We're going back and reliving.
Everybody knows. Everybody
the first
remembers.
time.
Yeah.
And drafts, just like sex, first time was not great for me.
You're by yourself.
My draft was much, much longer. But I do think Pitts is going to have a big year, and I think that it's going to help elevate Atlanta a little bit. You look at Kansas City before Mahomes got there, and then here comes the rookie Mahomes, and look at what Kansas City's been able to do. When you have a strong tight end and you have a quarterback willing to look at all the years that Matt Ryan was there. I really kept an eye on Mo Alley-Cox this year because that tight end, Matt Ryan has done a great job of making his tight ends a valuable part of the offense. He's definitely not afraid to check down to him. And I think, So yeah, I think Pitts is going to have a good year because Mariota is there.
That's right.
And they play in a bad division.
Bad division in a dome. I was actually looking at a lot of teams, and I know. I'm sorry. I took Justin Herbert early, and I get it, but I did that because
I was going to take him.
No, because I looked at it, and he's going to play. I don't know, like 11 games in a dome or something. Maybe it was more. I can't remember. And I was looking at, playoffs. Sometimes when I look at players, I look at what they're doing in the playoffs and who they're facing. And that kind of factors in how much they move up my love list, if you will. And something was just dragging me to Herbert. And I had to do it.
No, I mean it's early, but you have to take Herbert early. But I think it's a great pick. I do think Herbert is definitely in line to be one of the top guys this year, and I am flipped. I have flipped on that. A few weeks ago, I wasn't really sure what he was going to do, but with Williams and Allen and Eckler
Mhm.
playing, now their division is the opposite. In their division, I'm not saying it's their division is pretty strong as far as offenses go. Um, and there's a lot of skill players, a lot of excitement coming out of San Francisco with Trey Lance. These offenses are going to be trying things. These guys I mean, we're going to see a lot of highlight reels coming out of that division. So that is a situation where all the teams are good. And so they're all going to be trying to score a lot of points. That's an outscore your opponent division.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of going for too. Is I feel like it's just going to be shootout after shootout,
Yeah.
and I really want those passing touchdowns, especially when the passing touchdowns are 6. If the passing touchdown was 4, I wasn't taking a QB early at all, and I normally wait till like the 10th round to take one. And when there's 6 points, shootout potential, that's where I try to. It was really hard for me to do it because I normally take quarterbacks later, and but last year I had, like Jalen Hurts and stuff, and it paid off, but it just wasn't enough. And I got dominated by Hurts, just destroying like 40 or 50 or 60 points twice. It hurt a lot. So I think I got, is that like a sideways Stockholm syndrome? Like he didn't hurt me,
Maybe.
but he suffocated me into like loving him.
Enough.
So
Yeah, no, I mean, and he's expected to do well this year too. And with AJ Brown there, Devontae Smith's supposed to, pick himself up. Nobody's loving the Philly running game because Hurts is expected. It's kind of a Baltimore situation where you expect the quarterback to run more than the running backs.
Josh Allen, same thing, similar.
Yeah, I guess you could say that's true. Yeah, 100%. I saw Barkley go in the second round. I think it was somebody taking a big chance on Saquon. I honestly think it's kind of a decent move if you're gonna. I don't know if second round still way too early for me. I'm definitely would have waited till third or fourth on that one, but it could pay off. A lot of good talk coming out of camp that he's ready to go, that he's making his cuts, he's doing his thing. So I'm not saying I would take him yet. That's me. I'm not a guy to go on that big of a limb that early. You already know I want the sure guy a little more, but Saquon Barkley going early.
But you know that Josh Allen's offensive coordinator is now with the New York Giants, and you think he's not going to utilize one of the best backs in the league? I get the injuries, don't come at me right for that one. But, he's not going to utilize that guy, really?
I mean, he's going to utilize him. It's just like you said, with the injuries and stuff like that, is he going to last? Is that Saquon scares me with the injuries. CMC scares me with the injuries. The guy who doesn't really scare me with the injuries too much is Henry. And he probably should, but Josh Bandy, fourth and flex, think CMC is going to be the comeback player of the year. He's been saying it all preseason, a lot of people are in that camp.
I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be CMC and Mayfield as a team, as a stack.
Stack. Did Aurora get that stack? I don't know. I think she's hopped off, but
she got.
I know she got Mayfield. I know that
she got Mayfield and wide receiver Moore in Carolina.
Oh, she went DJ Moore. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people liking DJ Moore, and the only reason they're liking him is because of Baker Mayfield. So a lot of people going after that.
Did you hear something else about Carolina? They got Laviska Shenault.
I saw that as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just saying. I hope
not good for Robbie Anderson, but
Robbie might be sliding
down.
Why
you don't draft early?
Well, I mean, it's not too early, but I mean, I don't know if I will be trying to get him in our 16 team league.
Maybe,
tomorrow.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be late, I'm sure, because he's not even on
the 16 team league. I don't know if I've done 16. I want to say I've done a 14. I don't think I've ever gone as high as 16.
What's the strategy for a 16? I've never done one. I've done this much research. I'm kind of just going to wing it. You're welcome, Scott. But what do you do in a 16? How do you draft? I mean, obviously next best player, but
you ask Google. No, I mean, really, and
Ask Google.
that's the big thing right there, kids. When in doubt, draft the best player on the board. You can reach, but reaching is for mid rounds. Reaching is for late rounds. Late rounds, you're going for the sleepers. Mid rounds, you're kind of reaching on what's there. But those early rounds, that you heard me say it already. I took Eckler because I feel he's more of a sure thing than Najee. You talk about Henry's injuries, CMC's injuries, Saquon's injuries. If you're worried about that, then you take Jason Taylor first, because regression or Jonathan Taylor, sorry. Love Jason Taylor. Used to be a big defense guy, number 99. But go with the sure thing. Go with the sure thing, but go with the best player on the board. And I think that's really the strategy, what you're going to see, because when you're talking about a 16-team league, after 3 rounds, you're basically in about round 5, round 4.5. So I think that's really the only difference you're going to see is the progression of how soon things happen, where you might normally wait till round 7 or 8 to take your quarterback. You're going to see the quarterbacks going around 4, round 4 and 5, because number wise, that's where we're at, is in that 7. All those other players are gone. So you can't concentrate on what round we're in. Let the round dictate what position you're going for. You need to let your roster and available players start dictating who you're going to pick next.
I'm in a 8-team 2 QB league, and the teams are just flat out stacked. Like, it's basically who's healthy and luck is really, you don't have to really do a lot of research. And in the 16, I think you have to do a lot of research, but you still have to have the healthy players. You lose, your second, third pick, maybe your first pick or something due to injury, you're going to be suffering. And 12 teams a little difficult as well. I think the sweet spot, maybe we should do this next year for the yakking one, is we go to 10 teams, maybe add a second QB and maybe another flex spot or something, just to still have that depth, but still be able to do the homework. And it's not all just the gimme and like, no way you can ever finish in the top just because it's way too many teams. What's too many teams for a league?
I guess it just depends on what your comfort level is. I think that's what makes it too many. To me, I don't really like going past 12. Now, the 16 team is a challenge between Armchair Athletics and Elite Fantasy Games. We saw Cody from Elite Fantasy Games earlier. We do like those guys, and we're very friendly with those guys. And so this will be a fun, friendly competition with a lot of shit talking, because that's what we do.
That's how we
roll.
But
at the end of the day, we'll all shake hands and part as friends. So that's really the only reason I'm doing a 16 team. I would never just join a 16 team, but I know people that really, that's their wheelhouse. That's what they're used to. And as we've kind of led up to it, I've been thinking about the strategy as well. And that's what I came up with. If you guys got something else, a different way to attack a 16 team league, let us know. But for me, it's just kind of about realizing where the board is at, not necessarily what round we're in.
Yeah, I'm really happy I'm 16th, because I'm not going to have to reach or hope like, this one's going to make it back to me. No, they're not.
No, they won't.
It's 30 picks away. It's not coming back.
And I think that's what's going to be fun, is seeing just how many people are gone by the time your next pick comes around, regardless of where you're at on the board. I think that's going to be really neat.
That's what I was looking at.
How fast we get deep into this thing.
Yeah, I was looking at the end of the 12-team drafts, and I'm thinking, okay, this is where I need to really pay attention, because what's around, because it's going to be available in the 16. So it's a little worrisome, a little bit of stress. I might probably wake up at 2 a.m., I'm guessing, and not get back to sleep, because I'm going to start thinking about it right away. I've done it 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks. So something tells me I'm just not going to get enough sleep tonight. I'll be all right. I don't even know why I'm stressed. I'm not stressed. I think it's the excitement of drafting again. It's always fun.
You know what else is fun and exciting?
Uh-oh.
College football. And college football
Never
starts
heard of her?
this Saturday. And I personally am ready to go. We know that the Ohio State Buckeyes are facing the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame,
18-point favorites right now. I'm not sure I'm ready to give them that much, but that's how much hype is going into Stroud. That's how much going into the offense. And honestly, I really think they're probably going to cover. I honestly think that they're going to cover that 18.
2 is going to beat 5 by 18.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think Ohio's that loaded. I think my Buckeyes are that loaded this year.
Well, then I guess we should get to college chaos then, because
let's go.
Let's go, because I got some. Okay, I don't even like to judge people week 1 because last week was week 0. I know you got some games on Thursday, and
it's no disrespect to the other teams, but it's week 0. I mean, there's no contenders playing in week 0.
Well, there are some I didn't like. I think most of them who are higher ranked should win. I don't really think a lot of them will lose, but it's chaos. Somebody's going to mess up. Somebody is going to, I don't know, lose at home or something wild and crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
every year it happens.
It was us last year.
Yeah.
We lost week 1 to Oregon, a great Oregon team that kind of pattered out at the end. But I mean,
I think there was a few injuries, but yeah, it happens. So I didn't get too crazy with the picks. I only have 3 of them this week because I'm going to be nice.
3 is good. There's nothing wrong with 3.
Because I think that's about my average. I mean, I think I went 6 1 week just for fun, and that just because I wanted some chaos. Because you want your team to move up. Ohio State doesn't have to worry about that.
This is true.
But Oklahoma's at 9. Not gonna right there. So we're going to go South Florida is going to upset number 25 BYU. Now, I don't know if they're going to. It's a real swing and a miss in a way, but I had to pick somebody more than just, I can't just do one, So what do you think about that one? Yeah, it's not.
That one's hard. I mean, that's one of those, you're right. It could go either way, right? I think
South Florida's at home, and I'm hoping they just have some secret that BYU doesn't know about, some defensive player out of high school that just, I don't know. I don't know their lineup. I don't check that stuff. I just check the number and who can upset them. So
my thing, did the BYU quarterback come back? He didn't come back, right? He got drafted. I don't know.
I don't.
To me, that could make a difference.
The problem is there wasn't a lot of high quarterbacks drafted, but a lot of people were getting removed and kicked off the team. Because I think today's
BYU. I mean, BYU is only 25th. I mean, they're ranked 25th, so it's not like Yeah,
I'm not swinging for the fence here.
No, I mean it's this BYU 12.5-point favorite right now. Okay, yeah. Boy,
12.5.
12.5 right now.
I think they'll cover.
12.5-point favorite. 57 for the whole game. Man, you're saying BYU over South Florida at home? I really like.
No. I think South Florida is going to get upset BYU. They're going to take BYU's not going to be ranked next week.
Oh, okay. I will hop on that train. I misunderstood you. I will definitely hop on that train. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The upsets have to be somebody ranked getting
that would
upset
make
at
sense
a higher spot.
With the term upset, that would, yeah. Thanks for breaking that down for me because I clearly wasn't getting it.
Day, I guess.
No, yeah, I'm definitely on board with that 100%. Yep.
Okay. You might like this one. The unranked Florida Gators. Oh, who do you got there? Oh, yeah. There we go.
Get it right. I'm on the BYU game, but we'll go back. Go ahead.
No, okay. Yeah, Florida Gators are unranked, and they're going to upset number 7, Utah.
No. I'm not taking that one. No.
No?
No.
Yeah. Gators are at home, though, and they're going to be doing the thing.
They are. Yeah.
No, that's not. No. Okay.
Yeah. T's not in the room tonight, thank God, but T would definitely have your back.
I know. That one's for you, T. I think Utah is a phenomenal team. I think they have a chance to win the Pac-12. I just had to pick somebody because there's no ones that I'm really excited. I like to maybe next time we'll wait till like week 2 or 3 to really get into the chaos because then
Well,
we'll have
I
to.
mean, this really is the definition of the chaos, right? Because week one, I agree with you. Somebody's going down that's not supposed to go down.
And that West Virginia Pittsburgh was something, but I was like, nah. Kennedy Pickett's gone now, and I don't know who's replacing him. So
West Virginia they play some good ball, and they're very unpredictable.
yeah.
Let's see, Colorado State, Michigan. Michigan's probably actually going to be pretty decent this year. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's really not a lot here. Does Oregon pull it off? Maybe Oregon pulls it off again.
I don't think
maybe
so.
Oregon gets that week 1 upset against Georgia. Maybe
I know Georgia lost their like entire lineup. So
okay, here's mine. There it is, right there. Cincinnati over Arkansas. I will take it.
You know, I thought about that one. That one's a close one. They just lost their QB though. I think Arkansas has a better defense. I think I wanted to. That was part of them, but
that's the one I'll take. I'll take Arkansas over. Or I'm sorry, Arkansas to
Cincinnati
lose
over Arkansas.
to Cincinnati. Yes.
Okay.
That's mine. What was your third one though?
Notre Dame was going to upset Ohio State.
You know what? It's look at this. It's time to go.
Okay. I only put it on the list. It wasn't for that because I think Ohio State.
No, I hear you. It could happen. It definitely could happen. Notre Dame's supposed to have a great team. I just think it's a bad draw for them this year. Ohio State always puts together a fantastic defense. The CJ Stroud kid, he's definitely the truth. Man, the kid can play. So I just we lost all our receivers, so we got a bunch of new kids coming in at receiver, and I do think that could hurt us. But we always have good running backs. Like I said, the defense is usually pretty stout. I think it'll be a game for the first couple quarters, but I really do think Ohio State covers that 18.
I think because you lost all your receivers, sure you got some new ones, and Notre Dame is known like they're always overrated or whatever, or underrated. Some people are saying, but they don't win the big game. But Ohio State lost their first game last year. I don't know if they'll be ready. They're ranked so high, maybe they're sleeping. I don't really think they'll lose, really, but I'm game for it. You know, like let's make it happen and shake the college world up. I know that would just wreck your weekend to start.
It would to lose in week 1 all over again. It would, and I'm pretty sure I'm working during that game. No. We're celebrating my son's birthday that day, so I don't even know how much I'm really going to get to watch it. It's his day, and that's good. I'm down with that because everybody should have a good birthday. But I will be paying attention at least. And
can we
talk
be a shame
about to if they lost to a game I didn't even get to watch?
Well, it hurts less if you don't have to watch. If you watch it, it hurts a lot more. You're sitting there in the third quarter like this.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm the other way. I want to see why we lost. I want to be able to see where the defensive breakdown was. I want to see which injury caused us to be weak on what side or whatever. You know,
that's what ESPN's for. ESPN.
I don't even
highlights.
They lost me with their fantasy leagues. I don't really watch them.
Can we talk about Ohio State's 8 home games?
I'm sorry, I didn't make the schedule. I didn't do it.
4 away games. Have to leave home 4 times.
Look, somebody's doing their job. Why are you going to be mad at that? You wouldn't be mad if Oklahoma had 8 home games.
No, I wouldn't. But
well then,
Ohio State is Alabama 2.0 right now at this point because Alabama's got all these difficult home games, but they're at home and their away games are cake. And I'm just looking at. I looked at it tonight. I'm like, home.
Well, I tell you though, okay, but the tough one is that we have the game against Michigan. I'm pretty sure that's at home this year.
Yeah.
And that's usually the visiting team seems to have kind of advantage in those matchups, at least as of late. But maybe that's because we were the visiting team for so many of over the last 10 years and we've won all those games except for last year. I'm just looking to avenge get over this first game and avenge that loss, because we haven't lost that game in so long, and it really hurt to lose that game and see our chances get flushed down the toilet by our own silliness, especially from that team.
If you win, this gives you good mark on the resume, and at least to start. Hope as long as they continue to win, if Notre Dame continues to win, it'll help. But if they get a couple losses, it's just going to diminish that eliteness, I would say. But
loss
that's
in
where the
week
chaos
one
comes.
Everybody can recover from a loss in week one. You start losing after that, and now you're in trouble. But week one, if you got to lose one, we are definitely still in the playoff talk, even though we had lost week one. If we had beat Michigan, we would have been there. But well, that's how it goes. And we would have lost to Alabama just like anybody else.
Pretty much. Do you want to play Alabama? No, I don't. There's some big dudes over there.
We talk about as we head out, we talk about how when players get their big old bag of money, get that bag, they kind of stop playing, but it doesn't seem to work that way for coaches. And of course, Nick Saban just got that bag, like another bag. It's like the collection of Crown Royal bags you have in your drawer at home. Everybody, I definitely have Crown Royal bags all over this house. Kids use them, everybody uses them, and that's what Nick Saban has. Nick Saban just has a ton of bags laying around from all the money he's got.
Can we talk about Crown Royal bags for just 10 more seconds?
Absolutely.
The beginning of COVID, everybody had the mask on and everything like that, and shirts over and bandanas or whatever. But I went to a store and someone had a Crown Royal bag on their ears, just looked like a horse with a bag thing that they were just eating out of. And I wanted to laugh so bad. I'm like, that is hilarious. Like, who grabs a Crown Royal and sticks it over the face? I just thought they were just eating oats under there. It was so funny to me.
You probably actually had some Crown in there, a little straw and everything.
I mean, that would have been great too. I mean,
they're smart
thinking. But
speaking of smart thinking, if you're smart and you're thinking, you'll come back next Tuesday right here on Yards After the Catch, where we talk some more football. It will be after the Trenches draft that will actually happen next week. So come back here. You'll get a little insight on what happened at the draft, and we'll talk about all your drafts, because at that point they should be pretty much wrapped up. There might be a couple Wednesday drafters and stuff like that, but all your drafts, we can talk about your teams. We're going to talk about how well you did. We're going to talk about how well you might not have done. And we're going to do it all right here on Yards After the Catch. And of course, we're going to talk college football, college chaos every week right here. Get your upset specials from Mr. Roop. There it is. And all kinds of other craziness and silliness is what we do here. We have fun. For Mr. Roop, there it is. I am Chris Fox. Go check out Manscaped Superflex 20. Get just 20% off. Get yourself some draft day dice. We'll help you out. Check those out. What else do we need to plug here real quick on the way out the door?
Us.
Yeah.
Us.
Because
we're going to
do we need plugs?
Listen, we're going to give you some insight of every little thing you need throughout the year. We're going to be here and we're going to answer all your questions. Some weeks are better than others. Maybe you don't have any questions this week. Next week you might. We're going to be able to help you out and give you just a different opinion, because we don't think like everybody else, and you just got to just check all the boxes. So I just want everybody to just have fun, stay safe, and I really hope everybody does really well at your drafts. Try not to get sniped too much, because that's going to happen. And have a blast. I want to see what happens coming up next week.
Absolutely. Hey, Yards After the Catch, Armchair Athletics, Fourth and Flex. They're all out there. Go get them. Have a good time. And the biggest thing, all season long, every Thursday night, 12 teams go in. One team comes out with $5,000. We'll see you next week, everybody. Have a good one.